year two, the longest serving on the panel. I think 2011 done and 2012 was it? Just like the 2000s, there was loads. There was 3 or 4 or 5 Munster finals. Like watching them, Iain, like did it give you any sort of aspirations, kind of watching on from television or the sidelines of what you wanted coming down the road?
I don't know, you're so young at the time, you're just caught in the euphoria. Like I can remember Stephen Kelly's goal after a minute or however long it was back in Killarney. I suppose it just goes back to that as young kids, whatever we were back then, around 10 or 11, that we had our own Limerick footballers that we looked up to and that were going toe to toe with the best footballers in Ireland at the time. And I suppose that's where we want to get to, I suppose, as the current crop.
The year before you joined, obviously, was the last final. Was there anything in you kind of watching on? Obviously, you knew what you wanted at that stage, but did it give you any sort of belief that that's the place you wanted to be in 2010 when that final was being played in Killarney?
Yeah, 100%. Even before that, then, like with Massey being involved, he would have been a big kind of role model growing up in Monaleen. Like so, you always want to go out and emulate, you know, your clubmen and like heroes at the time. And we were lucky enough in around that time they won a few counties with the club, and for me that was definitely a big part of kind of like forging ahead with playing football.
And I know like you put so much into it, like, and this is kind of, it's not the end of the line, because even last year chatting to you were saying that it was just the start of something, and so it's turned out. But is there anything in the last 12 months, even this year, Donal, that a moment or a game that you just felt, okay, it's starting to really come together now, and maybe we're getting the breaks, and our result or something that happened, or a moment or a game that happened that just the whole group felt like, okay, we're really starting to pull this thing together?
It's very hard to pick one moment. Being honest, I don't know, every now and again you'd see it in training that like we're just going in the right direction. You know, you'd kind of like take maybe a step back and see maybe 3-4 years ago something that we wouldn't been able to have done well, whether it be in our defensive setup or trying to create space to make us, you know, make an easy score on the D, like, or just being more tactically aware in a match. And little moments like that are kind of a pointer that thankfully we're starting to go in the right direction, insofar as we're far from the finished article. Like, you know, next Saturday is just kind of another step in the journey, really.
Yeah, and look, last one there for you, like, you're playing, as you said, you're playing the best team in the country at the minute. Like, it's a great challenge to have, but road games have suited you so far. You know, obviously result will look after itself and all that, but getting on the bus, heading to matches now, there must be a good feeling around the group.
Yeah, like every time we come training, every match we play, like there is a good bond within the group. Saturday will be no different. We'll prepare for it the same as we've prepared for any other away games. Focus on ourselves, like we said, and hopefully bring a big performance and result.